Hello guys, that's Aimi Enei again. I'm filming here from Moldova, Chisinau. And in this video, I'm gonna read to you, I'm gonna tell you the succinct version of why I'm seeking asylum here in Moldova. I'm seeking asylum from the Russian Federation for a subsequent time, for the final time, hopefully. Yeah, I will never come back there again. So here I'm gonna read the document for you that I submitted to the Moldovan Immigration Migration Service that is processing the claims. Yeah, it's called the 10 points with reasons for my asylum seeking structured. So point one: regular, deliberate, and planned physical torture, physical body destruction of me in the Russian Federation, physical assault, health harm caused deliberately, exposing to physical hazards, human trafficking me, sexual rapes and assaults, threats to life, both verbal and physical, murdering me physically. So this first point, I'm discussing this now, yeah? Physical torture of me in the Russian Federation every night or otherwise regularly, lethal threats against my life, causing irreparable health harm to me by the Russians in the Russian Federation, rapes, gang rapes, beatings by groups and individuals, further torture causing physical ailment and injury, extreme humiliation, dehumanization, extreme physical and mental health harm, threat to life, ongoing murder of my physical body, them using my brain disorder to get regular criminal access to me physically, to my body, and to my physical property and information based property, and doing the most harm and destruction that they could, deliberately and with pleasure. My phone changing its own settings overnight, evidently in very visible ways, my information not being private and being misused, my things stolen there in Russia by the Russians or damaged irreparably by the criminals that attacked me there, yeah, massively as a group, as groups, yeah, and individuals too. Inability to be healthy, alive, and safe. They exposed me, the Russian criminals who were taking me in Russia, the Russians, yeah. I'm talking about 8 people in every 10. I'm talking about statistics, yeah. They exposed me to every physical destruction, danger, harm, suffering, and to physical body damage and biohazards and to chemical hazards. Deliberately killing, injuring, disfiguring, maiming, hurting, harming me. Simply as one example, beating me on the head to cause concussion symptoms, which I believed happened repeatedly. As another, making me eat out of disgusting garbage disposal dumpster on the street, which I, well, as witnesses alleged happened, though I never had a memory of this. Pushing buckets of disgusting allergens containing trash down my throat in a feeding torture, knowing that I was already caused a very bad disorder of my digestive system as a result of their crimes, and continuing to destroy my body, aware they are feeding me allergens that made me choke and harmful toxic substances, spreading rat poison in the flat I rented there in Russia. One of them, yeah. The second one, too, they did add some very nasty acting chemical substance there, yeah. There was a torture of pouring bottles of water down my throat to the effect of causing me extreme urinary damage. But for that one, I cannot know exactly whether it was done by the Russians or their commands, or whether it was done in that in only in that specific case, yeah, by unrelated individuals as a possibility. Yeah, I cannot tell for sure. Okay. Physical sexual rape by the Russians of me, harming my genitals, harming my mental health, depriving me, the Russians, yeah, who attacked me there, deprived me of physical sleep possibility to the extent where it prevented me from having a job or being physically functional or existing, exposing me to high risks of accidental death or injury and harm, beating me on my legs, in one case making me unable to walk and hurting for months, thinking I'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, literally having to learn to walk again, 3 months with a lot of courage and a lot of horror. Okay, human trafficking me for their entertainment. They're in Russia, throughout several different apartments, several different places in different sides of Moscow. In Novosibirsk too. Different parts of Novosibirsk, yeah. In Moscow area. Okay. So they were human trafficking me for their entertainment, for sexual assaults, for criminal money gain, out of hate, etc. I was absolutely helpless as their victim, without a chance to protect my body, my physical life, my brain, my information, or my physical property and valuables. Deliberate destruction of appearance, I accuse them of these things. I accuse the Russian criminals who are massively attacking me in groups and as individuals, in Russia before I ran from there. Okay, so when I say they or them, in these cases, it denotes those Russian criminals who in huge numbers targeted me and attacked me and were trying to kill me. Okay, so where was I reading? I'm reading this material here that I submitted to the Migration Service. I want to be exact. I want to document everything. Okay, so I said I was absolutely helpless. I said deliberate destruction of my appearance by them disfiguring or trying to disfigure my physical body, and are statements of actions and intent to disfigure my face. Threats of pervert gun rapes associated with my decisions to leave the Russian Federation and to seek asylum. And as another reason, with my attempt to seek foreign husband at some point. As a bodyguard, I told about this in the other video, That's scary. That was disgusting. Ousting my eye from the existence, to the effect of very realistic possibility of my complete disappearance and my never waking up and not being able to exist. Inability to exist for me there. Because those Russian criminals, were killing me non-stop, without a pause, without exceptions or limits. They were plain physically killing me. I'm going to turn to the second page of this narration here. I'm going to try. My fingers do not want to do what I'm trying to do, turn this page. Because I'm exhausted. It's late night here now. I'm feeling this from Moldova, now again, because I was attacked. Subsequent time, I'm being under every threat, I'm in every danger, so I'm filming all this, I'm documenting all this, Okay, page 2, point 2. Regular, deliberate, massively implemented, physical, sexual, social, verbal, defaming, aggression and harassment happening in the streets and public places, or intentionally committed socially and or through the internet or through using videos. So I'm going to discuss this second point now, Extreme harassment in the streets in the Russian Federation of me, vomiting gestures, very grotesque, by massive amounts of people, yeah, including uniformed policemen at some point, yeah, but massive amounts of people of various demographics that were taking me, yeah. 8 people out of 10. Statistics, yeah. Coughing in my face deliberately, pretending to cough in my face, or when passing me, literally seeking intimate proximity to my face and turning toward me to do it in my face, some of them, yeah, with pleasure, deliberately. Physically walking into me, into my body, or into my things, or trying to do so in a very visible, very obvious, open manner, as intentional provocations and harassment by individuals of both genders, intentionally, knowing that I seek physical safety and am scared of them and repulsed by them, riding into me or trying to do so to harass, humiliate, and scare. Shameless, openly done by many, many men, penis gestures. While the male would stare at me and laugh in my face, sometimes it was done in pairs or in groups. That was also meant to make me glance at dead body areas that they were pointing at and gesticulating around. Insults. And yeah, I did tell about the guy who came up with me, to me, pressing his penis area literally to my face, by millimeters from my face. Made me shudder away, asking to move out, yeah. I'm not mentioning the guy who walked out of me, who walked from behind me in an almost empty train car, underground train car. So basically, he and I were in the same train car, did not notice him. He walked from behind me, zipping his pants, seeming to zip his pants, laughing, very cheerful, I'm scared. Okay. So, insults. They were insulting me a lot there in Russia. The Russians they had this, what they called, akция, yeah. They were spraying smelly aerosols. They were visibly pretending to cover their nostrils when I'm passing by on the street with laughter, showing this, poking fingers in my face with intent, physically, non-verbally trying to assault me. Unwanted and unnecessary in context physical proximity to my body, sexual harassment, sexual assault of me by them, sexual and physical threats, a lot of them, social threats and harm, other physical aggressions unprovoked by me, stalking of me, gossiping, badly disturbing and insulting comments. Humiliation was constant everywhere, anywhere, the worst they could give me. On everyday basis, wherever I was, they were haunting me there in Russia. Somebody there in Russia spreading some false rumors that they were saying that I was trying to hit their kid or something, and that I used a disgusting word for children, as they said. I can suspect that maybe in my disability, unconscious periods. I'm gonna take this paper closer to my eyes. I'm gonna put the other paper away, yeah, so it does not confuse me. I have several documents there. I want to make separate videos for each of those documents, or at least for some of them. So, like I said, somebody would spread some evil rumors saying that I used some bad word to talk about children in one of my unconscious disability periods that I'm talking about my brain disorder, the worst thing ever, in a separate video. Please listen to that. Okay, and where was I? I'm reading. I'm trying to read this document here. Yeah. So yeah, I found the place where I was reading here. Somebody spreading some false rumor that saying they were falsely alleging that I was trying to hit their kid, which was not true. Yeah, never happened. That I used a disgusting word for children. Again, never happened. Yeah, unless they were torturing me in my unconscious spirit. I do not know. And I wrote here, I can suspect, maybe, I do not know. In my disability unconscious spirits, they could have heard the word they mentioned. Because the rise, I was told, pervert, terrible videos of sadistic criminal pervert content that were manufactured by Americans, where my body is being used as victim of terrible, scary, pervert crimes. I was badly horrified when I was first told about those videos, all of which I believe to be entirely fake and AI manufactured. But I was irreparably psychologically traumatized by what the Americans did against me. And by the fact of the existence and reported content of those pervert horrible videos. The terms child, children, childbirth were reportedly used in those so-called videos to denote something terrible, which I do not want to think about or comment further. The Americans also told some story that there is some individual calling himself child, quotation, citation marks here, yeah, after reportedly he alleged some relationship with me. Though I have no idea, not the vaguest one, of who that person might be. And I got to know that I'm being falsely accused of having caused some serious, severe harm to the person. Okay, so I heard rumors that I'm being accused of having said something wrong to his wife in particular, after which she lost his child, or something like that. Yeah, some statements. Some statements of romance or whatever else that had zero connection to my conscious eye. Yeah, I do not know who these people are. Yeah, and here I wrote the same. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea if somebody could have misused me or set me up in my unconscious periods, disability periods, yeah, that happen regularly every 24 hours. Listen to my other video where I'm going to be talking about this separately, yeah. But I have no relationship, and I have had no relationship. I have no relationship now and then, yeah, or have no agency associated with any of those people. I do not know who they are. I don't know what people they're talking about, yeah. I do believe that if those rumors have any basis, then somebody used the disabled me to set me up for things that have nothing to do with abusing my disability periods where I'm unconscious. Every 24 hours, I'm gonna tell about it. It was terrible to hear those things. The topic of children, I want to raise this separately, yeah? It's worse than traumatizing to me for many more reasons that I can list, in addition to those already mentioned. I can make a very long list of reasons for why it's badly traumatizing. I won't go into explanation because I don't intend to cause myself mental harm thinking on those topics. Now, I was told that the interviewer, like the guy who's going to be interviewing me here in Moldova, he read these paragraphs where I was talking about the harassment of me, where adults were harassing me, using their children as tools to get to me, yeah, in very ugly, very disgusting, incomprehensible ways. So that person I heard gossip that those people who ran it, they thought that, they presumed for some reason, they falsely alleged me to be hating their children or taking their children. Please tell me you're going to be listening to this paragraph I wrote. Yeah, I'm going to quote it word for word. Yeah, I do not know if I'm a bad communicator, if I cannot express my ideas. Yeah, I am pretty certain I did not write a single thing that could possibly be misinterpreted as insulting or humiliating to any minor, any child, yeah. Uh, this paper has no hate statements against anybody, yeah. I'm reading it word for word. I'm citing it, yeah. Tell me if you find something wrong with what I wrote. There were adults, groups of adults, who harassed me, abused me, tortured me, using their children, babies, toddlers, all the children as instruments for that. They actually involved them in that persecution, which I found horrible. And I want to talk about it, have the right to talk about it. It was deliberate behavior, it was deliberate choice. I find it horrifying. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Okay, so like I said, I told you I will not go into explanation of why it's traumatizing topic for me, yeah? Because I not want to cause myself mental harm thinking on those topics. But those Russians who attacked me made it a public entertainment and harassment to hunt me using their kids, or to even provoke their kids to hurt and harm me, and to tell me bad things about me in my presence, brainwashing their children. Those adults, they were brainwashing their own children to believe nonsense. They were calling me dog, they were calling me old and ugly, they were calling me children hater when they were talking to their children, when I was passing by. That's not comprehensible to me how those people were trying to teach their children to abuse and hurt somebody who is disabled, who is exposed. I'm disabled, I'm fully exposed to any harm. I have no protection, I'm fully defenseless, yeah? I'm very vulnerable, I'm extremely vulnerable. I'm exposed to all and any harm. Those adults were teaching their children to attack somebody weak, to attack somebody innocent, to harass, to say insults. They were teaching their children as if it were a normal thing to insult, humiliate, harass, to make somebody suffer. They were intentionally trying to do this. I'm gonna tell more about this, but I'm gonna read this first. Yeah, I might even devote a special video to this. I do not know. Yeah, I'll see. So, like I said, I have reasons to believe that they actually hold their kids and torturing me, also during my unconscious states in some period way. I can quote a funny thing. Yes, and I'm going to tell a good story. I'm going to quote a funny thing. After I called some kid, Sunshine and Bunny, in the airport, asking for the way because I was very late for my plane. I might tell about this too in some video, yeah. Due to a combination of reasons, yeah, and I was scared and I had to get that plane. It was very important for me. And so I asked the child to let me pass through, yeah. I was very polite. I called them Sunshine, I called them Bunny, yeah. And I later saw that kid again with their mother, I think. I have very bad vision. But I think it was them, yeah. And I heard the kid asking her parent, I think it was a girl or a boy, yeah, I don't remember anymore, yeah. So the child said, if she called me Sunshine and Bunny, then how come? Why would she possibly hate me? Yeah. And I just laughed. I thought that's brilliant, kid, yeah. I mean, yeah, ask those adults. Go and ask what they're teaching you, what they're telling you, what they're doing, yeah? It's not about children, people. It's about very sick adults who are harassing me in groups using their own children. It's incredible. Let me read this further. I never hurt anyone, a kid or adult, in my life, to the best of my knowledge. So the people who read this found this aggressive. Yeah, you tell me. Is there anything aggressive in this? Yeah, or anything hurting somebody or inappropriate? You tell me. Yeah. So I wrote, I never hurt anyone, a kid or adult, in my life, to the best of my knowledge. I'm the most innocent, decent, smeared person. But I got traumatized, I got hurt, and I got scared through the words and actions of the adults weaponizing their own kids against the innocent and helpless me. And at some point, I sincerely prefer to stay away. And yeah, now I have this attitude. I prefer to stay away from both children and their parents, so I do not get hurt any further. And meaning I get out of the way, I seek distancing, yeah, basically from everybody, from children, from adults, from babies, from toddlers, from old people, from males, from females, from people of all demographics. Basically right now I'm just scared of everybody. I'm just trying to stay away from most people. Yeah, I'm seeking my privacy, I'm seeking my space. I'm badly traumatized by a lot of things, not just by that. Yeah, there's a long list of things that are badly traumatizing. I have reasons to fear for my safety, physical safety, yeah. I have reason to fear, and that's just reality, no. Somebody somebody here in Moldova, once called me paranoid one of those days when I was passing by, yeah. They were commenting, they were gossiping, and somebody called me paranoid, some woman. I started laughing, people. Of course, like that's the best joke. That's the best joke I've ever heard in my life. You're calling me paranoid, yeah, in my situation, within my life context, yeah. I'm walking on the verge of death, like first. I don't know for how many years, since my birth, yeah, since before my birth, yeah. I'm walking on the very edge of death, terrible suffering, yeah. And I keep fighting for survival, trying to find that equilibrium, not to fall into death, yeah. I'm threatened by huge numbers of very different people, threatened very badly. I'm being tortured. I've been in physical danger, undergoing physical harm. Yeah. I have no idea what the next second holds for me. I'm terrified for my life. I'm scared. I'm in every danger, or like in a lot of danger every second of my life. Yeah. So basically, calling me paranoid was like the best joke I've ever heard, you know? It's simply not possible to be paranoid being me, you know? I don't think so. Okay, but now I was reading this. Yeah, I got distracted. So I said that I seek distancing from anybody. I said this is normal reaction to everything that was done against me, and this reaction won't change. And I don't think it will, yeah. I just want all people, all two-legged human beings to stay away from me. Yeah, that's my gut reaction, yeah. When I'm walking somewhere, I'm trying to seek out a lone path. I'm trying to, pass further. I'm trying to keep out of anybody's way. That's normal. That's natural for me after everything I've been through. Yeah, after everything they did to me in Russia and some other countries. Yeah, when I'm talking about this. So, but the curious thing is, somebody in Russia spread around the world. They were saying that my suffering gives health and energy to those who abuse me. And basically, they were saying that if they involve their children in torturing me, insulting me, and making me feel bad, terrible, frightened, etc., they actually believed that they're giving their children health and life energy by involving them in torture and torment and harassment and abuse. Yeah, how sick could those adults be in their head? You know, involving their children to something horrible, to crimes, and thinking that somebody's going to benefit from this. Yeah, no, it's not working this way. Yeah, it's not like that. So yeah, I wrote here, it's something medieval. Yeah, I wrote here, I think that's why they were doing this. At least I heard those crazy things being said. I did multiple times, yeah, by those who attacked me and by other witnesses. It's something medieval, I wrote here. And nobody can ever get health or happiness through killing, hurting, harming other person, or through causing them to suffer. It doesn't work that way. But those crazy people harassed me a lot. I'm talking about the adults who involve their children here, yeah? Okay. So I did forget to write this, yeah, so I did not write this here, but I'm gonna mention this, yeah. There was a separate type of harassment where there was people in Russia would approach me and would ask me literally for anything, for my money, for my property, for my food, for something, anything, yeah. Here in Moldova, yeah, there are some Russian-speaking people in this place that was supposed to be shelter where I'm in, yeah. And basically, they know about my disability, they know about my brain disorder. They try to access me in my state of brain disorder here in Moldova already. The Russian speakers, people speaking Russian, yeah, I did not check their passport, they're speaking Russian. And basically, in a very rude manner, in a very insulting manner, yeah, in a very blackmailing manner, these people are requesting me to give them my money. They're saying, like, right now, before I made this video, I heard a woman there saying, yeah, I heard somebody screaming by my windows for money. And then I heard some woman there saying, she has something like $1 million or $1 billion, yeah? She can give us some money. She doesn't have to give change. Change is not necessary, yeah? Like, really? People, yeah? And I had the same attitude in Russia. When they were harassing me with this, when they were making me uncomfortable, they were forcing me and they were targeting me. It was not because they wanted money. It was not because they were hungry and wanted food, yeah? It was not the poor people. It was not disabled people. It was not poor people. It was not elderly people. Yeah, so I'm not talking about elderly people. I'm not talking about disabled people. I'm not talking about poor people or suffering people here. I'm talking about regular, well-dressed people from the street who'd approach me. Some of them with children, some of them just adults, yeah. And that were begging me for, like, they were not begging me, they were basically ordering me to give them my money. Yeah, it was not begging, it was ordering me, yeah, or trying to manipulate me into this, yeah. And here in Moldova, same thing. And people, it just amazes me, you know. Like, I want to address this Russian-speaking woman I heard just before I was making this video, yeah. Woman, what exactly made you think that I have a huge sum of money with me? Did you count my money? Did you have access to my money? How much money have I got? Yeah. How do you know? Why do you think so? Second question. Why do you think that my money, however much or little, is your business? Third, woman, people, yeah? I'm going to address all those people who engage in this, yeah? Why do you think that you have the right to force a disabled, vulnerable, alone me, who is in a strange country, in a foreign country, without your family here, without any support, without any financial support, without a job, without a permanent place to live? Yeah, I'm sitting here. I do not know my next second. I do not know my future. I do not know what tomorrow brings. I'm afraid to die here. I'm attacked by multiple people. Here in Moldova already, I'm threatened physically. I was attacked sexually. I was attacked physically. Yeah, I'm hyper threatened. I'm scared for my life. I was told in advance that my asylum claim here in Moldova is going to be denied by multiple people, including people in the immigration service who were saying that they thought I was not understanding what they're saying. I was understanding what they're saying. Yeah. And there was no interview yet. Yeah, I was just there to give my materials there. Yesterday, I heard that. Yeah, and those people are saying the same. Yeah, I mean, attacked by crowds of people who know, many of whom know about my disorder. The police, the so-called police here, they know perfectly about my disorder because they sexually and physically abused me through this disorder. They caused me irreparable health harm, very bad health harm, by accessing me in my unconscious states and causing me things physically, yeah? Physically torturing me. They too were physically torturing me here, yeah? I heard that was the police and the Russian-speaking people here. That's what I heard from other people who were talking about this because that information is circulating, yeah? I was told they made some videos, etc. So that's what I understood. And I really had those health effects. I really heard them saying, those police, they were making videos, they were accessing me. I heard a threat, like a sexual trafficking threat, that they were going to enter my room, lock my room, do things to me, yeah. And I believe they were doing this, you know. That French-speaking woman who aggressed against me, who is next room, yeah, with your child there, yeah, who was physically aggressive to me today, yeah, who asked those people to persecute me, yeah. Now they're trying to throw me out of shelter or do things to me. They were trying to break my door the whole day today, yeah. So the director himself, you know, I heard people saying that this director himself, he also engaged in sexual, physical abuse against me and physical torture of me, yeah, where I was told they poured bottles of water down my throat by force. Somebody speaking Russian, and this police was involved, this director was involved, and some Russian speakers here was involved. There are many Russian speakers here, several at least, yeah, who also said in Russian, people who live here, some very aggressive, very threatening, very insulting statements at me, threats, yeah, disgusting threats. And I mean, I'm sitting here locked, yeah, I do not know where I go tomorrow, I don't know what happens to me, yeah. And these people are overtly saying they are waiting for me to run out of my money. They want me to spend up my last money, yeah. These Russian speakers, yeah, the people speaking Russian, they are saying they want me to lose the rest of my money, and I have very little left. I do not have $1 million, people, yeah. I have relatively little money left. It's running out. Most of the money I got from my property sale either got stolen or it got lost on conversion, yeah, or it got plain stolen or it got misused. Yeah, I'm out of this money. Or it got spent. And I'm closing on having no money soon, yeah, basically. I still have some, but it's running out very quickly. It's about to run out. And I still need money for another ticket, for another way out somewhere. Because if these people refuse me asylum, I cannot come back to Russia. I will need to go somewhere else, try to survive, and not want to be a tramp on the street again like I was in French Guiana, yeah. I know everything about being in the street, an asylum seeker with a disability, with a brain disability, being gang raped, being almost being killed too many times to remember, yeah. Not being able to depain myself while being in sharp tooth pain. Dental pain is a horrible thing, yeah. When it's sharp, when it's emergency pain, and nobody agrees to depain you without $1, you know, or euro, whatever. So I know what this thing is. Yeah, I know what it means to have no food to eat. Yeah, when I was fainting, almost fainting. when I used the same plate with some local disgusting tramp, quite disgusting, not because he was physically disgusting, but he was actually not local. It was somebody who came from a different country there. Yeah, I will not specify the country, I know it, yeah. I called the person disgusting because he was morally disgusting. He was disgusting as his brain, yeah. And I was forced to eat from the same plate, like the dogs eat from the same plate, yeah. Because I would die if I didn't, yeah. And people, I do not want to lose my money. Yeah, I do not want to be in the streets. And these Russians here, they're saying they want me to lose my money. They're making a joke of this. They are ordering me to give my money to anybody, to give away my money. It doesn't matter to who. It doesn't matter how much. They want me to give all of this. They want me to be a tramp in the street. They're saying this overtly in my face. Because, partially, they want the entertainment of seeing me begging for money or begging for food. And they want the pleasure of coming up to me and giving me a few coins, you know. While all the while they're saying they're sleeping and dreaming of taking my parents' property, that they're saying I will never get my inheritance, I will never get that, yeah. They're saying that. Fat chance, I'm gonna control what happens to any coin that belongs to my family. To my parents, to my sisters, yeah, to me, I'm gonna control every coin, you know. There were people who stole money from me here, yeah. When I was in the hotel, when I was in this room later, yeah. My money in pretty big amounts went missing, yeah? Not in gigantic amounts, but in big enough amounts, yeah? I've been to local police the first time who did nothing. They pretended suddenly they don't read Russian, yeah? They cannot read Russian, they cannot understand. They were calling me, they sounded threatening, yeah? So I said, okay, yeah? Forget it. No problem, yeah? I mean, I saw that they did not want to, you know, like, process it. So here in the shelter, I complained too that my money went missing. Yeah, this head of the shelter here, basically he expressed the idea it was not his problem, and they were harassing me, they were threatening me, they were trying to shake the now closed door off its hooks the whole day. The staff and the woman were there who was speaking French. Yeah, I simply told them to stay away from me physically. Yeah, to keep social distance physically. I told them I'm afraid of them. Just to stay away from me physically, not touch my body, not to approach my body. Very simple. Not to steal my money, not to enter this room where they put me, yeah. People, that's terrible, yeah. So it does get on my nerve when I think about this, yeah. Those people in Russia, yeah, they were overtly saying that they were saying it doesn't matter what she gives to us, yeah, but it was a question of principle to those criminals that I give them something mine, yeah. They were well-dressed people. It was not some miserable individuals, it was well-dressed people, yeah. Okay, they involved their children, well-dressed children. I do not owe you nothing. You are criminals, all of you. Most of you, yeah? Okay, I do not want to generalize, do not want to sound like a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi no more, yeah? I'm not making this mistake no more. But 8 people out of 10 in that country abusing me, torturing me, physically killing me, destroying my life. Why do you think they should give me my money, my food, my anything? I'm not gonna do that. You know, there are people here in Moldova who are very elderly people, or people who are really, you know, like who have physical injuries, who are missing bodily parts, yeah, who are begging for money, and I really sympathize with those Moldovan people who are here. I'm not sure if they're Moldovan or Ukrainian or of other origin, yeah. I've seen some very old women. I've seen some people with injuries, you know, without limbs, yeah, in very scary state, yeah, asking for money, asking for food, yeah. I understand that those people need help. I apologize, I did not give them any money. Yeah, I made a principle, I did not do this. Yeah, because I'm alone, I have no support. Yeah, I have been through all the hells. Yeah, I do not know where my tomorrow brings me. If I'm gonna have tomorrow, yeah, and how I'm gonna meet my tomorrow. But I sincerely, you know, like hope that other people who have more stable lives, yeah, who have more support, who are more certain of their future, might be able to help those people who really need it, who really have no limbs, yeah, who really have very bad physical injuries, or who really are that old, you know, like and that miserable, yeah, They're physically old and miserable, some of them, to a very visible extent, yeah, where you don't have a doubt that the person needs help, yeah. So I've seen those people. I did not help them myself, yeah, but I had the feeling that people should be helping them, yeah. It's a shame that the local government, does nothing to help those people. They're on the street in some very miserable situation, in terrible situation, do not know where they live, yeah, do not know if they have food, yeah. I'm very sympathetic. I'm very sympathetic to them. I have strong feelings for them. I really hope that somebody helps them, yeah? Not me, but somebody. But when those Russian speakers, well-dressed, they were well-dressed children, attacked me, trying to grab my money or my food just for, because they wanted to, because it entertained them, for fun, for entertainment, literally ordering me in an ordering, aggressive tone to submit my money to them. Like, people, are you sick? Are you crazy? What's wrong with your brain? Yeah? Stay away from me. Stay away from my body. I'm not gonna give my body to you. Stay away from my organs. I'm not gonna give my organs to you, yeah? Stay away from my money. I'm not gonna even give my money to nobody, yeah? Stay away from my property. No, you're not gonna steal it. I'm gonna control every coin. It belongs to my family. Any member of my family, yeah? And to me. Obviously, you're not gonna steal it no more, yeah? Because they stole lots of money from me, you know? In Russia, in Moldova, in other countries, yeah? So now I'm controlling. Now I'm trying my best, at least, to control, yeah? Considering my brain disability, considering my unconscious periods, yeah, I'm trying my best, you know? And that's just, it terrifies me, you know? Like, it makes me angry. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading this, yeah? I'm gonna return to this material, yeah? It just amazed me. It was, like, right now, before I made this video, yeah? They yelled for this, you know, they made a point to, you know, like, the woman saying that I had $1 billion or something, yeah. No, I don't. No. Even if I was a Bill Gates, you know, I would not give her a broken sand and a dog pistol. Or any of them who know they have a brain disability. I'm a refugee seeker on the streets, basically, without a place to go, without any support, without any job, without any source of money, without a man to protect me, without a bodyguard. A person who is exposed to any crimes, who's undergoing crimes, physical, sexual, moral, social, any. My property gets broken, gets destroyed, gets stolen, my money is missing, yeah. My body, I keep waking up, you know, with different injuries, with bodily symptoms I cannot tolerate because they are torturing me at night. Different people here, yeah, intentionally and deliberately. And they also want my money in addition to this, yeah? And they order it. That's amazing, people. That's amazing. I'm going to read this, yeah? So, like, people, yeah? Help those who need your help, yeah? Like I said, those people who are badly disfigured, who are badly injured, who are missing limbs, yeah, who are very, very elderly. It's visible from those people when they need help. It's visible. You can see that. They look very miserable. They look entirely miserable. They look entirely lost. They look entirely helpless. You can see that, yeah? That's the person that needs help, yeah? But when those Russian speakers, well-dressed, come to me with their children without, you know, them, and order me to give my money to them, basically, mentioning my disability, knowing about this, yeah, saying, threatening me how they're gonna wait until I get unconscious to take my money, and how exactly they are gonna do this, how they're gonna be stealing from me, how they dream to see me begging for food on the street so they can come throw coins in my hand, yeah? It's their dream. You know, that makes me hyper furious. No, they're not gonna have this, no. Not a sand, not a dog pistol, no. I'm gonna keep reading this, yeah? So, where did I finish, yeah? Okay, I'm gonna continue reading. So, they, meaning certain Russians or Russian speakers on the territory of the Russian Federation, also made and distributed socially their own smear materials against me. The particularly mentioned videos with allegations of indecent comments and behaviors that were not mine. I do not know for sure whether on which comparative proportions those were AI, artificial intelligence manufactured fakes, or other fakes, or if those were made through torturing me while misusing my disorder in my regular, predictable unconscious periods. They use those to misrepresent who I am and what I'm doing, and to destroy me socially, as well as to cause more people get involved in doing me harm and persecuting me for fake reasons. Online harassment of me by those Russian criminals, threatening situations, preventing me from using online services. Any, yeah? I cannot use dating websites no more. I cannot use marriage services no more. I cannot use delivery services no more. I cannot use buy online services no more. Yeah, so online services are not for me no more. Yeah. There are Russian speaking individuals trying to accuse me of racism, which is very funny, yeah. And in the case of some of them, I strongly suspect that they do it intentionally to misrepresent the situation and to hide their crimes. Because nobody can genuinely be as stupid or deluded to conclude that a victim of gang rapes, me, yeah, a victim of gang rapes, regular and intense physical torture, and every threat to my physical life, not to mention multiple other crimes committed against me, is suffering from racism. It's like, really? Or else they're gonna say, what are you? They should promote those ideas, trying to present me as a Nazi or else as a whore or a drug addict or some idiot or other things, because they want to distract public attention from the crimes I accuse them of, specifically, from what I'm saying. They're scared that somebody is going to investigate their crimes, which I cannot imagine, but I do believe in God and godly justice, like I believe that God knows everything, yeah? He's going to punish them. They're going to stop existing for what they did against me. So, yeah, those people, like I said, yeah, those criminals. Where was I reading this? I lost the place, yeah? So, yeah, like I said, yeah, they're trying to distract the public attention from their crimes that they have committed against me. And they're trying to destroy me. Because, like they said, some of them, I am the witness, the victim, the evidence, and the proof, living proof of their crimes. And they want me there. They want me off their way. I'm dangerous to them, they said, yeah. And they said they're going to lie deliberately, that they're going to pour buckets of smear over my head. They're going to brainwash every foreigner. They're going to call me a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, just to make those people disbelieve me and not to listen to me, yeah? Just to hide their crimes, because they're scared their crimes are going to get exposed. They're scared somebody's going to get to know the real thing that is happening, what they did against me, who I am, what they are, yeah? And what's going on. They're scared somebody's going to investigate. I actually don't know why they're scared, because nobody has investigated this for years or ever, yeah? I don't know if anybody has ever investigated it. I'm beginning to lose the hope for that it ever is going to happen, yeah? But God is going to know. God knows now, yeah? Okay, I'm reading this further, yeah? Goodness. Distribution by those Russian criminals and promotion of false smear disinformation about who I am as a person, as a woman, as a professional, as an asylum seeker, as a member of my family. Disinformation about my physical health status, about my education, about my financial situation, which I mentioned already. In varying ways, by the way, in varying ways, in different ways, yeah? And so on and so forth. Talking about education, I'm sorry, I'm going to get distracted, yeah? I absolutely enjoy it, yeah? I have 2.5 higher educations, yeah? I'm a professional linguist, a diploma with excellence, yeah? I have a second diploma in teaching, I'm Master of Arts in Teaching, yeah? That I got from an American university. The first one was from the Russian Novosibirsk State Research University, yeah, with excellence. Then there was a third program I entered, which was a doctorate, a PhD in the US. Yeah, I did not finish that one. I studied social psychology. Yeah, I have a good formal education. I have an even better informal education, a much better informal education, really. So there were people there who were trying to falsely claim that there was no education, there was no job experience, that I'm worth nothing. They were literally saying this in front of me in my face. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, what kind of job is she gonna do there? Oh, well, maybe she can work in a store." Huh, wow, why do you say so? Has she ever worked in a store? Do we need her in our store? She has no education. She's stupid. She's worthless. Yeah, like things like that. Yeah, they were saying this about me. Yeah, in the presence where I could hear it. Right before I left, actually. Yeah, which is like hyper funny, like hyper ridiculous. All of this. Yeah, but the problem was I did not want to clean toilets for them. Yeah, I did not want to do nothing for them. If I could have, I did not want to. I would not do anything. Yeah. It's like these anti-motivation, reverse motivation I was talking about in my other video, yeah? I do not want to work for criminals. I'd better stay jobless, but I do not want to work for criminals. I'll do my best in my life. Not to ever work for criminals again. I had that experience, unfortunately, yeah? And I'll do my best not to ever work for criminals again. Or at least not to be useful, yeah? Hopefully, I'll do my best. Or depends on me, at least, yeah? So I'm gonna continue reading this. Okay, so point 3 for my asylum seeking now. Allegations of quotation, old whore, quotation, everybody's whore, quotation, she hasn't finished fucking yet, or she hasn't finished wanting to fuck yet. They used a very derogative statement for this. In Russian, I'm not even certain how to translate it to communicate how derogative it was, yeah? How shockingly derogative it was. Quotation, secret prostitute. Quotation, pervert. I was called that way by those Russian criminals. And so on and so forth, yeah? There was harassment involving smear and false claims about my genitals, about my health status, about my sexual ability, about my behavior, and so on and so forth, yeah? So that was page 3 of the document I have submitted. I'm going to page 4 now. And I'm gonna develop on that point just a little bit, yeah, very, very briefly. Allegations that I was everybody's whore, raped by everyone and anyone there. Those Russian criminals massively were spreading those allegations, yeah, calling me that, saying that. It was simply not safe and not possible to exist in that environment. It was extreme. Yeah, imagine hearing this, imagine listening to this. Yeah, it drives you crazy. Yeah, I almost started going crazy myself. Just listen to that. Yeah, I never saw a naked Russian in my life. I never want to. I don't want to. Just stay away from me, crazy people. Stay away from me, crazy people. Yeah, it's terrible. It's horrible. I know I have a disorder. I have a brain disorder. I'm gonna talk about in a separate video. Yeah, people please listen to that. Yeah, and that's the scary part because I do not know what they did to me. Yeah, because it's possible. It's entirely possible. It's entirely plausible that they could have been using my disorder to begin raping me for years of my life, of my existence, which they were saying. I do not have that experience. My conscious self, I do not have that experience. Yeah, but I know they could have been doing things to my body. And that's the scariest part of all, yeah? The gaslighting, yeah? The absence of information that I could trust, yeah, but those are the things they were saying. Calling me these things, terrifying, scary, disgusting, calling every horror in me, yeah? Okay, so what am I saying? Yeah? I hope I still have a charge. Do I have a charge? Yeah, I think I should have a charge because I'm charging this phone, yeah? Just hope this video will not break off or anything, yeah? Okay, so, like I said, they were distributing they're there, yeah? So allegations, they were saying that was everybody's whole year, like calling it these words. It was extreme. It was it was dangerous. Yeah, it was hyper dangerous to me, yeah? There were statements that nobody would ever marry me. There were statements that all of them had it with me there in Russia, quotation marks, yeah? Anyone, quotation marks, that all of them knew how I looked naked. They were saying that. Like, who'd marry a woman like that, like when every man had slept with her in that country. They were saying that those Russian criminals were saying that. Ain't that terrifying to somebody with a brain disorder? I'm a decent person. I'm a nice person. I have a brain disorder. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing to me part of every 24 hours. Whether I'm in Russia, in Moldova, in the US, anywhere. Yeah, I don't know what those criminals are doing to me every chunk of every 24 hours to my body, to my life, etc. Yeah. I have no control, I have no fault, I have no information even, except what I hear from them, yeah? Or except for the injuries I later discovered, yeah? It's scary. Okay, guys, my video, that's Aimi Enei again. My name is Aimi Enei. My previous video got interrupted suddenly, I do not know why, yeah? I'm reading to you this document that's called 10 Main Reasons for My Asylum Seeking, yeah? Why I ran away from the Russian Federation, yeah? So I tried to make it as brief, as succinct as I could have, yeah? And the last video got interrupted where I was talking about that those Russian criminals were calling me everybody's whore. They were alleging that everybody saw me naked. They were alleging that they were gang raping me for years. Yeah, they were alleging some very frightening, very terrible things. Yeah. So I told you that. I told you that. Yeah. Now I'm gonna continue reading this document here. False claims. So it's point three. It's point three that I'm reading now. I'm developing on that one. Yeah. False claims distributed about my behavior, my health status. Those criminals, those Russian criminals, were falsely alleging venereal diseases at some point. Yeah, that I don't have. I'm fully healthy in that sense. Yeah, thankfully. False claims about the anatomy of my genitals. Some of them were claiming that I had no genitals at all. They were alleging that. Some of them were saying that I had a finger-only deformation, that no guy would ever be able to have sexual activity with me. Nobody would be interested. Yeah, whoever would be would have no penis but a finger. They're not capable of sexual activity physically, and so on and so forth. They said some very badly insulting, derogative, humiliating me things in front of me, like massively, as groups on and on again. It was not a one-time occasion. It was persecution that was spread throughout the years, like it was going on, and they were doing this intentionally, yeah. It's one thing to keep people away from me, yeah, to keep me isolated, because an isolated victim is an easier object of crimes, yeah. Nobody cares. Basically, I am there at their disposal. They can do whatever they want to me. They can kill me. They can torture me. They thought so. Yeah, it was what they wanted. And secondly, yeah, they knew I would suffer hearing this. Yeah, they were trying to make me suffer. They were trying to make me insulted. Yeah. So that's what was going on. And yeah, it was like all those harassments at the same time, actually. In the previous video where it got interrupted, I was saying they were calling me everybody's whore, who was raped by everybody and anybody, who was being human trafficked, who was being gang raped for years. Yeah. Telling some specific sexualized, very nasty circumstances, like somehow involving me in that, context they were trying to harass me with or describe whatever. It was very, very scary. And they used all kinds of these harassments, like involving sexual harassment, all kinds of it, like incompatible types of harassment. They used them all. Non-stop, like I wrote here, yeah. And I said I did not know myself which made me feel more humiliated, which of those harassments made me feel more humiliated, more harassed, and more threatened. Yeah, all of them did, probably. Like I said, I have no physical issues whatsoever with my genitals. Thankfully, everything is fine with my genitals. Neither have I ever had any sexually transmitted diseases. Thankfully not. Yeah, that those that are standardly tested for, yeah, that's negative. Thankfully, yeah. Breathe out. So, to the best of my knowledge, like I said, I have none of those standard STDs. Yeah, thankfully, no. And yeah, that is according to the standard test results. Yeah. I do not know myself. I do not know if they were really again raping me for my whole life, or if it's all smear and fake. I simply do not know this information. I don't have this information, people. I don't know myself. Point 4. Having money but having nowhere to live. Being able to live absolutely nowhere. Changing multiple apartments, multiple hotels, but ending up in the same and similar horror. It was a horror movie, not living anywhere. A lot of money wasted unnecessarily on rent that I ran away from. Days later, weeks later, yeah, it doesn't matter. On agents, and so on and so forth, yeah? People openly saying that they're driving me out, that they do not want me to breathe their air, that they want me to have a nice, they want themselves to have a nice country, but that I should be out, that they want me to go away from their territory and to never come back again, that anywhere I'll move to, they'll be causing me intense health harm and body destruction, body deformation, and they will hunt me down even after I leave wherever I go to. They say they're gonna know this, they're gonna have their own people in those places, yeah? And guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get distracted from this. Yeah, right now that I'm in Moldova, yeah, and I was considering one of my first ideas was to go to Ukraine just to pass the border, to ask for asylum, thinking it might be a safe place for me, yeah, in the context of what's going on in my life now, yeah. An active war zone would be a much safer place for me than what was happening before that, yeah. And now somebody, Russian speaking here in Moldova, said they predicted that the Moldovans are going to negate me, and they said, she's going to go into Ukraine. We have our people in Ukraine. We have our faces in Ukraine, he said, meaning Russian faces. But he said they were not going to expose those Russian faces that, as he said, they have on grounds in Ukraine currently. I don't know, maybe spying, maybe doing some destructive activity there, I do not know. So Ukrainians, please take this into account. That's useful information. They said they're not gonna use those people against me because they do not want to attract attention to them until after the war finishes. But then I said the Russian speakers here, it was a male Russian speaker here, yeah, who said that, an adult male, yeah. And they said that after the war finishes, then they are gonna get to me. Then things are gonna change for me, yeah. Well, not during these years, yeah. But that way I know they have their spies there. Well, at least they're saying they have their spies in Ukraine now. They're Russian faces. Funny, 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 terrible, terrible, terrible. So threatening people. And so when I was in Russia there, yeah, they threatened they're gonna find me anywhere. They said they're gonna bribe locals, yeah, do terrible things to me, etc., etc., etc. Okay, I'm gonna try to read this, yeah. I lost the place where I was reading. Okay. So yeah, I have read to you point number 4, yeah, that people were openly saying they're driving me out, not wanting me to breathe their air, they want to have a nice country, but that I should be out. They want me to get away from their territory and never come back again. So that anywhere I move to, they promise to cause me intense health harm, bodily destruction, said that they will hunt me down anywhere after I leave, wherever I go to, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so again, I'm developing this point. Yeah, right. Being driven out of any and every place of dwelling, anywhere, like a ball thrown, and object of pervert, extreme, health damaging, killing me, torture. Physical inability to live or exist anywhere because I'm not suicidal. And I do not want to be killed, raped, regularly tortured, physically threatened with physical murder of me multiple times. They're in Russian Federation, they threatened me with this multiple times, yeah. I don't want to be disfigured. I don't want to be infected, etc. Yeah, that's all their threats. That's what they were doing, that's what they were saying, yeah. Threats to brainwash and or bribe and or manipulate foreign individuals into deliberately torturing and harming me, such as threats to have somebody pour bottles of vodka or other alcohol down my throat by force. That phrasing haven't been used. Poured like bottles down her throat by force, yeah? Threats to cause someone intentionally infect me with some irreparable consequences. Threats presuming murder plan and smearing campaign targeting public opinion of me, but also having a misstatement of causes of unnatural death as a goal. Threats presuming joint humiliation, stalking, social harassment, etc. Point 5. Misconceptions and delusions about my disorder. Witch hunting. Okay, so I have actually I will make one more video where I'm gonna tell specifically about my disorder. So this time I have no reservation. I can talk openly about all those things. Yeah, that's a very important subject. But now I'm gonna move on to the next page. Yeah, I'm gonna read to you this point that I wrote in this specific document. Yeah, I heard comments about myself, such as that my unconscious, helpless nightly body is my primary identity, my real self. I heard somebody saying that, Russian-speaking person was saying that. They said that that unconscious state is my primary identity. They alleged it was my real state. They alleged it was my barcode, using this term, yeah, that shows who I am as a person. And that it is the thing that they need to know me for to determine my worth. Those attitudes badly horrify me. Imagine somebody evil drugs a girl with date rape, and she's helpless and cannot protect herself against a cruel gang rape because of that. Those are real life cases here. Does that mean that the girl is some pervert, shameless whore who enjoys being raped by a gang of strangers, criminals, disgusting in a public place and abandoned bleeding? Does it mean that? I hope you can answer that question. The girl is a victim of terrible crime, and she has nothing to do with what was done over her body in her life. Also, imagine somebody evil drugs you or pours chemically influencing substances inside your body. And as a result, you slur your words. You cannot put two words together. You cannot move your tongue. You stare at somebody else's husband and wife in a rude manner, maybe. Maybe you tell somebody they're fat, ugly, and an idiot. Maybe you step on somebody's foot. Maybe you fart, despite being in a public place. Or maybe you urinate on yourself, right into your clothes. Maybe you watch thoughtlessly as some petty criminals take away your money, your valuables, your documents, your car keys, whatever. Maybe you don't have a thought in your brain, and you act like a drunk and drugged person would. Now, does that mean that if I see you in that state, I should conclude that you are a cognitively deficient, rude, socially inept, and disgusting individual who is also shameless, who cannot articulate, who cannot put two words together, who is irresponsible and idiotic? Should I conclude that? Or the second option, if somebody sees you in that state, does it mean that they can kick your head, or break your legs, or rape you, or steal from you? Does it mean that? Or anything else in that category? Or should they rather provide you with physical help in that context? When your cat is wandering around you at night and staring at you, maybe, does it mean that it's trying to abuse you in some way, yeah? Or if it tears down your sofa or grabs your food, does it mean it's attacking you? Okay, so I hope you can answer all those questions for yourselves. Now, my question is, why are people so willing to confuse a physically and cognitively impaired state of basic unconsciousness that happens as a result of a brain disorder, which is not my fault, which is out of my control, which has nothing to do with who I am, with evil character, with your brain somebody. So there are those concepts in social psychology or situational versus dispositional attribution. I can tell you, it's frightening how many people are willing to label you as criminal, as terrorist, as pervert, as a whore, as a liar, actress, etc., instead of even asking themselves the question about external, uncontrollable factors that may be causing the physical state that they observe. There were individuals who called me devil or who made cross gestures very grotesquely, very visibly, when they were passing me by, looking at me, laughing in my face, etc. Well, I did not have any problems with God. He's my best buddy in life. I'll be with God, and He will be with me for the eternity. But the people who abuse a sick, scared, exhausted girl suffering from a brain disorder, who is a victim of terrible crimes, so they have a problem, I think. my real self? If you're so sure, why wouldn't you talk to me during the day and ask me things when I'm awake, when I'm conscious? Alternatively, why wouldn't you try to attack me when I'm able to protect myself? To some extent, at least. Not when I'm unconscious. Going to the next page. It was page 5 of 9. I'm trying to make it page 6 of 9, yeah? So again, I'm talking about the 10 main reasons for my applying for asylum. Yeah, I'm almost falling asleep. Yeah, I'm very exhausted. It's late at night. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna do my best to hold on, people. I'm gonna do my best to hold on. So those are not the questions to the readers of this letter, of course. They are for the people who state smearing things, calling me debilitated, idiotic, criminal, lying, actress, terrorist, etc., and denying the fact that whatever they observe is not my eye. There are also individuals who genuinely believe they go in some direction with me when I'm in that state. Well, they don't. I do not remember them or what happened really, because I'm not registering any information during those unconscious disability periods. You should rather talk to the wall or to a cat. You'll have significantly better chances of communicating your ideas successfully. I have no more agency or cognitive capacity in that state than that body would. Point 6. Inability to exist or function in any context, depriving me of my physical, mental, social, financial, medical, security, personal, professional, and many other basic fundamental needs. We're going to develop on point 6 now, yeah? Inability to use any services, dental, medical, transport, job-related, cafes, police, marriage, whatsoever. Ever. Inability to ask for directions in the streets. Occasional impossibility of using bank statements. Through intentional harassment. Occasional extreme harm caused when trying to use taxi. Inability to buy bus tickets. Lies. Disinformation. Inability to rent. To be registered. As is factually required there to have a job or for other basic needs. To get certificates. Do anything at all. Difficulty or impossibility of using stores or eating out, cafes, impossibility of using parks, places for walking, no possibility to get help from anyone through being killed, raped, physically tortured regularly, and calling for help to the official structures, to the media. Uniformed policemen would say things like, she's lying, she's not one of us, she's American related. Not exact quote, yeah? But that's what was happening. Allegations they could cause more hurt, more harm. That was a key to harm me with further, because I was what they perceived. I'm sorry, I'm almost falling asleep now. It's on the video now. Honestly, I'm almost falling asleep here because I have spent a sleepless night. Just slept a few hours here, very few hours. I woke up feeling nasty, feeling tired. And now I had a day. I did not sleep, yeah. But now my brain keeps turning off and I cannot sleep because I was threatened here. In this Moldova dormitory, I was threatened. So I don't know what to do, where to go, how to organize my life. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a safe place here. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading this, yeah. I'm trying to stay awake with a lot of difficulty. So yeah, like I said, yeah. Allegations they could cause me more harm and hurt. It was a key to harm me further. Because I want. Because wait. Because what they perceive, what they perceived, They thought I offended them, or they thought I talked badly of them. So the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA, with the backing of some police structures intentionally, denied me registration at an address that was supposed to be relatively safe for me, recommending, quotation marks, the rental room owner who said that she's an employee or an ex-employee of MFA against recommending the rental room owner who said that, oh, people, I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep. I don't know what I'm saying no more, yeah. I'm really not gonna be cutting this video, yeah, just for you to know how badly I feel. Hopefully it's recording, yeah, how terrified I feel, yeah. Right now I feel hyper exhausted sitting here in Moldova, yeah. I feel like I can drop dead and die. That's how badly I want to sleep. But I told myself I'm not gonna sleep this night again. Yeah, I'm gonna stay awake. I'm gonna try to make something reminding coffee now, yeah. I told myself I'm gonna try to stay awake because there were people threatening me again, yeah? Telling me that I will be sorry that I spent a night here, that I'm gonna run away the next morning, yeah? As far as I understood those statements by Russian speakers in Russian here. So maybe I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere, yeah? To open the doors, to open the windows, to sleep, knowing I get into my unconscious state, yeah? Okay. So, like I said, I had no capacity in that state, no more than dead body would. When I develop a point sick now, excuse me, people. My biggest dream in this life is to get some bodyguard and to sleep. To sleep my ass off, you know, with somebody guarding my body, guarding my stuff, guarding my documents, yeah? Being sure that nothing terrible is gonna happen after I wake up in the morning, yeah? I never have that certainty again. There is no bodyguard husband. I cannot sleep because these people keep torturing me. All I want is to fucking sleep. It's terrible. It's horrible, yeah? If there is somebody listening to me there who can help me with this, yeah, please contact me. Please reach out to me. I need a bodyguard. I need somebody to protect me while I am sleeping so these people won't be killing me and torturing me, yeah? So I need to meet a good person who'll agree to be my bodyguard throughout those periods, yeah? Okay, if it's possible, I'm talking about a miracle now, yeah? Okay, where was I? Again, I'm falling asleep. My brain is totally discharging. I don't even know where I was reading, so I'm going to start with point 6. Inability to exist or function in any context depriving me of my physical, mental, social, financial, medical, security, personal, professional, many other basic fundamental rights. Inability to use any services, dental, medical, transportation, job-related, stores, cafes, police, marriage, ever. Inability to ask for directions in the street. Occasional impossibility of using bank service. Is it recording? Yeah, I think so. Occasional impossibility of using bank services through intentional harassment. Occasional extreme harm caused when trying to use the taxi. Inability to buy the bus tickets. Lies, disinformation, inability to lie. Oh, I'm sorry, inability to rent. When people are falling asleep, my brain is totally discharging, yeah? Inability to rent. To be registered as is factually required. There to have a job or for any other basic needs. To get the certificates. To do anything at all. Okay, difficulty or impossibility of using stores or eating out cafes. Impossibility of using parks, places for walking. No possibility to get help from anyone, though being killed, being raped, being physically threatened regularly, and calling for help to official structures, media. Uniformed individuals would say things like, she's lying, or she's not one of us, she's one of them, she's American related, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. People, oh my god, I'm falling asleep. I need to do something to my brain. I need to make coffee or something. Yeah. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA, with the backing of some police structures, unintentionally. Oh, no, intentionally, I believe. It would not possible be to be unintentional. Yeah, it was intentional. So they intentionally denied me registration. The address was supposed to be relatively physically safe for me. Recommending the rental room owner, in quotation marks, who said that she was an employee or an ex-employee of MFA against me, accusing her to break the agreement. Okay, I'm gonna continue this in a separate video, people. Sorry, I need a coffee, or I'm gonna turn my brain off. My brain is gonna turn off. Yeah. Okay, guys, that's part 3 now of the same video where I'm listing my 10 main reasons for claiming asylum, for running from the Russian Federation away, yeah, for the final time. Again, my name is Aimi Enei. I had some coffee. It's about 2 a.m. here now, yeah. Yet another sleepless night. I had some coffee. I'm in a half awake state, but I'm gonna continue reading this document to you. Yeah, I do remember I had a very unsuccessful attempt. Yeah, after I watched the end of the last video, I had a very unsuccessful attempt to get to point 6 for you guys. Yeah, so I think I'll start with that one. Yeah, just in case, after I had the coffee. Point 6, inability to exist or function in any context, depriving me of my physical, mental, social, financial, medical, security, personal, professional, and many other basic fundamental needs. Inability to use any services, dental, medical, transport, job-related, stores, cafes, police, marriage, etc. Ever. Inability to ask directions in the street. Occasional impossibility of using bank services through intentional harassment of me there in the Russian Federation, yeah? Occasional extreme harm caused when trying to use the taxi, inability to buy bus tickets, lies, disinformation, inability to rent, to be registered as is factually required there to have a job or for any other basic needs, to get certificates, to do anything at all, yeah? Difficulty or impossibility of using stores or eating out cafes, impossibility of using parks, places for walking, etc., yeah? No possibility to get help from anyone, though being killed, being raped, being physically tortured regularly, and calling for help to official structures to be there. Uniformed police, uniformed individuals, yeah, who I believe to be police, all of them, yeah, I don't know if it was all of them, or yeah, of the different uniforms. They would say things like, she's lying, she's not one of us, she's not ours, she's American related, yeah. So, that sense, yeah. Allegations they could cause me more hurt, more harm, and that it was okay, according to them, to harm me further because what they perceived as offended them, because they thought I spoke badly of them, yeah. That was the only thing that they understood from that, yeah. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA, with the backing of some police structures, intentionally denied me registration. So in my previous video, there was a question here. It was intentional. They intentionally and deliberately denied me registration at an address that was supposed to be relatively physically safe for me, recommending the rental room owner, who said that she is an employee or was an employee of MFA, recommending her against me, yeah, causing her to break off the rent agreement all of a sudden, even though I paid in advance for half a year in advance, actually, yeah. She ordered me to move out and she denied me registration, even though, yeah, I have prepaid. And then I was openly told by somebody else that I'm supposed to be in an isolated outskirts district, and there were also statements that I should be out of Moscow center. There was at least one statement indicating awareness that I will be caused harm when moved to other districts. The speaker falsely estimated that the harm to be done, would not be a lot according to them. He said, they won't kill her, quote. They will just be using her for their aims sometimes. That's a quote, yeah? They were killing me. I was being tortured physically. I was being caused irreparable bodily harm. They committed crimes. Those Russian criminals, they committed crimes. I was told statements which claimed that I, at 39, They should basically just wait it out a little bit till I'm retired, till I'm dead. And basically, they said they alleged that I was too old to have a job, I was too old to marry, I was old to have life, yeah? According to them, I was dead and gone, needing to shop for a coffin. It was literally the kind of things and ideas they were communicating persistently, brainwashing me to think those things, yeah? They did not manage to, but it was very distressing to just be listening to that, yeah? And they were saying that, or if I suddenly had health problems, unexplained and exacerbating, yeah, they would be referred to the old age category. So it was a threat. It was a very thinly veiled threat. Yeah. I said, oh, you stay here. Yeah. Any health problems? That's just old age. Never mind. Yeah. It's all going to be explainable through the age. Okay. So yeah. That was being communicated to me. Yeah. They deprived me of a chance to ever get married. Those Russian criminals. To ever have a life partner, to ever have a family of my own, while they made one of their many harassment strategies through using their personal situations to cause me intense, non-stop, extreme harm. So I talked about that in some other videos. I will not be dwelling on this for a long time now. It's on the page. Yeah, I'm going to continue reading. So, as a consequence of everything they did and are doing, now I do not think there is any possibility for me to ever have a husband or a life partner, even ever in the foreseeable future. They made sure it never happens. They made sure to threaten, harass, smear, persecute, stalker me nonstop, and that strategy for that goal as well. So now I cannot use dating websites no more. I cannot use marriage websites. I cannot use marriage services no more. Though I have 3 different dating profiles and 3 different official marriage websites. Yeah, I cannot be using those websites no more. I cannot meet a man who could become a possible partner in the streets or elsewhere either, or anywhere. They humiliated me. They're hypocrites. But then they took physical, factual, deliberate actions to cut off any way in which I could ever have a partner or husband from my own choice. No possibility to ever have people I'd call friends. Inability to go to a doctor or a dentist there in Russia, even though I was badly needed and still am actually. I've been for years, people. I have been needing a dentist for years, yeah? Like I was telling you in my previous video, I had difficulty locking my jaws, yeah? Difficulty sleeping, yeah? Because like I have to go through a very long process, try to lock my jaws together so my saliva does not get out, yeah? That's the conditions my teeth are in right now, yeah? With mostly dissolved temporary fillings, sharp edges, etc. Teeth edges not coinciding, yeah? Like I have a terrible state, like of my teeth for 4 years now. That's causing me extreme discomfort. That's causing me extreme harm, but I cannot go to a doctor, I cannot go to a dentist where I am, yeah? Particularly not there in Russia. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading my story here to you, yeah? Yeah, so I'm telling just that here. I'm suffering from a very bad dental disorder, but have been unable to fix it for a very long time now. With resulting deformation of my lower face, yeah, it actually causes deformation of the lower face area, yeah, and my neck. I have difficulty simply locking my teeth, meaning I can't normally do it for a while now. I also have untreated cavities, sharp teeth edges, where temporary fillings have long fallen out or got dissolved, with huge chunks missing. Inability to have a normal job, normally, on a decent basis, without harassment, without discrimination, without persecution, threats, financial blackmail, etc. Precluding me from having an official, stable, professional job on normal, objective legal conditions. Forcing me to engage in forging stamps and signatures, harassing me, threatening me, harming me, humiliating me, lying to me, insulting me while I sought to obtain a job. I was trying to obtain a job then, yeah? Inability to be indoors, inability to be outdoors, absolute inability to exist, inability to fulfill my need for normal human sleep, people, yeah, and normal work cycles, using my lifetime to torture me physically, torture me mentally, and to kill me. That's what they accuse those Russian criminals of. Inability to be healthy, to be alive and safe. They exposed me to every physical destruction, danger, harm, suffering, and to physical body damage, and biohazards, chemical hazards. Those Russian criminals, they exposed me to those things, yeah? Deliberately killing, injuring, disfiguring, maiming, hurting, harming me. Inability to exist because they were killing me non-stop. Those Russian criminals, they were killing me in groups, in herds, in crowds, groups and individuals. 8 people out of 10, like I said, yeah? They're killing me non-stop without a pause, without exception or limits. Plain physically killing me. I'm passing to point 7 now. Evidence that I was attacked physically and sexually as a young kid without my parents and sisters being aware. Evidence I was hated already before I was born by a stranger who, for reasons I don't know, hated the fact of my mother's pregnancy. And as that crazy woman said, she promised to make my life hell and called me with a terrible word. Evidence makes me believe that my disorder was intentionally caused to me somewhere in the beginning of my existence. Dangerous psychos in proximity to me who don't even know, but who I want to be far from. I did not develop on that point. I think it's self-obvious, but I can answer any questions about this, yeah? If anybody has them. Point 8. Inheritance-related, financially motivated threats against my life, property, and freedom. Criminal intent and promises to steal my money and destroy me. Okay, that was page 7 of 9. I am gonna try to turn it over. Yeah, I wonder if that's because my the skin in my hands is so dry, yeah? Why I'm unable to just turn the page. Oh, it's actually like everything is difficult at 2 a.m. in the morning after 2 sleepless nights, like maybe some few hours in between. It's really excruciating to try to turn the page, yeah, from 7 to 8. But wow, I'm proud of myself. I managed to do that. So I'm going to continue reading my document to you about the 10 main reasons, yeah? So yeah, they wanted to declare me insane for the purpose of giving my money to someone else or to do or anything at all to make sure that they'll use my money and my property, that I'll be out of their way. And they wanted to go towards stealing my parents and my sister's financials and property. There was constant or repetitive financial threats. Now in Moldova, I'm undergoing those threats, blackmail, yeah? There was humiliations, there was insults, there was threats to life and freedom. Clarification here, yeah? I'm going to inherit several pricey apartments, plus at least one house with private grounds, plus money, maybe 2 houses with private grounds, yeah? The elder sister, who is in the US as a citizen, is not communicating with the parents for a while now after she asked my father not to give me access to property. But my father said he can make his own financial decisions for himself. And he actually made the decisions that are best for me, that are good for me, that are decent, that are normal. Yeah. So the other sister is in another town in Russia, but she has severed all any ties with the parents and me decades ago, yeah? She has no family of her own. She's basically alone. And I know there are criminals who are looking at her property too. She's not an old person, yeah, but they're looking at her property too. Point 9. Lying about my disorder and deliberately smearing me, producing disinformation and criminal fakes, threatening to manipulate and deliberately brainwash outsiders in order to hide their multiple crimes against me, those already committed and those yet planned for the time ahead. and to provoke people to kill me, cause me irreparable bodily harm, so that people would have very erroneous impression of my character, fate, and of the events that happened, so that nobody would investigate or know about or believe in my disorder or any crimes committed against me. I'm a living victim, witness, and evidence and proof of their multiple crimes. And they want me smeared, they want me lied about, they want me dead, they want me dead, the sooner the later. The sooner the better, sorry. Calling me whore, calling me actress, calling me liar, calling me pretender, pervert, etc. Saying openly that after I leave to seek asylum in other countries, they will blatantly and deliberately lie and do what they can to smear me, falsely claiming me to be a drug addict or somebody with alcohol problems, needing an alcohologist. Yeah, they were prepared to blatantly lie about this. They said they are desperate to deny their crimes and hide any evidence, yeah, to misrepresent facts. They said I'm dangerous to them and that they intend deliberately pour lies and dirt onto me so that nobody would ever believe me or realize what's going on and what they have done against me already, yeah? Point 10, my uncle's story. I did tell you in another video my Uncle United's story, yeah? They wrongly and criminally deprived my uncle of freedom, put him in jail, tortured him, stole his property, infected him, and murdered him. My uncle had a different disability, but they killed him and intended now to kill me. And I see a pattern of what they do to people who are exposed to harm, who are unable to protect themselves. Absolute incapacity to exist anywhere there or function there in the Russian Federation, yeah? It was toxic like acid. It was destructive, incompatible with living, incompatible with justice, incompatible with existence. Okay, so here I write that the term they and them is used in the sense of Russians and Russian speakers, yeah, not as a complete generalization, yeah, but as a huge, massive, overwhelming numbers of dangerous, evil, crazed individuals and groups. I'm gonna turn over the page. I'm gonna try to finally get to, let's say, the page 9, yeah. The page 9, where is it? It's opening up. Yeah, it's coming. So yeah, I have some more comments here. Yeah, I wrote, please note that the term Russians and the term Russian speakers are not used to denote the nation as a whole. And that there have been decent, there have been kind, there have been 7 people on my way, and people who offered thoughtful analysis and thoughtful comments about my situation. It's simply that the statistical majority attacked me, while good people were perceived by me as the statistical minority, meaning 8 bad persons and 2 good ones, out of every 10 approximately. Okay, and also in this document here I wrote, I'm asking to have my interview in English only. I will appreciate the soonest possible interview you may find it possible to schedule. Thank you so much for your consideration and attention to my asylum case, Aimi Enei. So this document I give over to the migrations, yeah, to attach to my application. Okay, I'm gonna close off this file, and now I'm gonna make another video where I'll be detailing my disorder. I'm gonna try not to get unconscious. I'm gonna try not to fall down or to fall asleep in front of the camera. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best. Thank you guys. Watch my videos, please.